welcome back to my channel. So I have finally finished this piece. So let me explain to you before you think, oh, that's it, that's her done with this piece. Falter or add anything to this entire piece, because I've gotten to the point where I sit back and I think I can't add anything to this to make it better, and I cannot alter it, so therefore it is finished. However, it doesn't mean that I can't still go away and create another painting in a similar format, either bigger or smaller, to basically document this, because I wanted to show you the kind of finished way and the finished piece of what I do after a piece is finished, as in you're not going to edit it anymore. Unfortunately, the frame that I wanted to put it in has decided to break, so we're going to have to be a bit more inventive on how it's going to look. So I can still show you what it's meant to look like in the frame, but the little clips that you put the board into has decided to break on me. I'll give you a quick conclusion on how the whole project went. I found myself not knowing what I actually wanted out of this painting, and alongside it I actually did some printmaking. If you have no idea what I'm on about, I'll leave the link into my latest video on printmaking and tulips, because it is incredibly insightful and it really helps with the whole process of painting. Now when it comes to painting, this is completely different to what my normal painting style is, and my painting style is still to do with form, texture and mark making, but it's more on the realism side and the suggestion of marks. This one is more about fighting with the background to create a composition realistic towards the light and the atmosphere and the feel of the object. Still lifes are incredibly difficult to do, especially when you incorporate colour. Now originally I wanted to highlight the fact that these tulips that I was painting and drawing were actually meant to be black tulips, but they turned out purple. So I wanted to highlight that in my work, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should just do black tulips with the colour of what they actually turned out to on the backdrop. Ironically, I actually already had this colour backdrop in my set ready for some sort of project, and I just didn't know what to do with it. It kind of put one and two together, and I was like, oh my god, I was meant to create this all along. It's almost like my brain was like, oh my god, I'm going to prepare this for you in the future for a project like this. So that was the original thought. However, when I started just adding a colour, I didn't have any white at this point. I had some black, but I thought the black would be a bit too overbearing, and it would technically still work. I could still go away and experiment with this side of it. Whilst I was putting the orange on, I realised I really like the colour and the contrast that you have between the orange and the red. Then I decided I still wanted to put a bit of a dark colour in, just to give a little nod to the fact that these were meant to be black tulips. So I decided to outline all three of them in a dark blue colour, just to give that extra contrast, because even though the background is quite a soft purple, it's quite a dark purple and it's not bright at all. So I wanted to create an extra contrast with blue. Blue also helps with setting that as a backdrop and allowing the tulips to be brought forward. Then I ran out of orange oil paints, so I had to naturally gravitate towards a different shade of colour, so I went naturally towards yellow. Yellow, hit and miss, made the tulips a really awful colour. So I decided eventually, when I got my white paint, I decided to start covering it up, but also using that to my advantage, because it also outlines some of the petals that I had. It is incredibly abstract, this piece, but you can still understand the characteristics behind it, because I'm constantly battling with the misshapes and the different textures and layers of acrylic skins that I've got on this backdrop, and that just adds to it. It becomes more about trying to get the image onto the painting rather than what the image actually is meant to represent, and I love that. I find that I can become so obsessed with that I just lose focus of what it's meant to look like. It's a bit like my landscape paintings. Because I've altered my brush to a silicone brush, I've taken away the control of making it really smooth, whereas silicone you can just wipe it on, and it's kind of more like sculpturing painting rather than actual painting. Doesn't mean I don't use paintbrush. I still use paintbrushes for either the smaller paintings or as an extra feature within that painting. I am incredibly proud of how this has turned out because this definitely is a final piece. Doesn't mean I can't still carry on with the whole idea of having black tulips with that kind of background, but it just adds to that step of this is what's happened, this is the progress I've got to a certain point, and I'd happily quite sell this on to either a viewer or someone who just comes across my eBay selling account who wants something completely different that I have researched head to toe, and I've found that tulips are incredibly hard to find in terms of the art world, as in masterpieces. So when you come to flowers, the first thing you think of, well for me, is Sunflowers by Van Gogh. Tulips, there is some still lifes, but it's not something that you kind of roll off the tongue. It's more of a afterthought. This is more of an afterthought, admittedly, because it's not mind-blowing. And I think what I need is actually to go a size bigger to an A3 size, which is kind of ironic because all of my artworks I've seen recently have been either A3 size or slightly bigger than A3. And I don't know what that is. I think it's just a positioning wise. It's not so overbearing, but it's controlling enough that it gives me a sense of control. Big enough piece to make an impact, but also it's easy to transfer via postage, which must have creeped into my subconscious somehow. So I am going to show you what this is meant to look like within the frame. I'll show you what I mean by the little clips. Can you see that there? This, you push that down and it keeps the glass in. So I'm going to show it with and without the glass, so hopefully get a sense of what it's kind of meant to look like. So I'll zoom you out and pull this a little bit. That is the general feel and look I want from this piece. It is contrasting and you still have those elements that are just eye-popping. It would be nice to have a bit more space in between it all, but beggars can't be choosers. I'll put it in with the glass and see what it looks like, but I can still use this frame. But you see it? I mean, there's not much difference when it comes to using the glass, but you get the general idea. I can still stick it onto the frame, but it just means that I will never be able to get the piece out of the frame, and I don't know if that is something that would hinder not just the object, but also the piece of it. So, if anyone is interested, I will be selling this piece with or without the frame. It is totally up to you. I will list it onto my eBay selling account on what you want to do with it. Either way, I will send it with the frame, so you can do what you want with it. And I will be selling this only for £20. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, and I have put a lot of time into this piece, but I'm actually saving up for a lot more. I'm actually saving up to transform my house and move all our stuff into the attic, so I don't have actually the space to keep them, all of my artworks. So I thought I'm just going to continue with the price reduction on all my artworks to make them all affordable, and also to get them out the door so they can be appreciated, and also so I can get some costs back in terms of art materials, and also put some money towards buying a desk, buying another desk, buying some equipment and some storage for all my stuff to go up into the attic and to be properly appreciated and have an actual space rather than a floor or a room with wallpaper dogs on it. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the explanation of me and the process of this painting. I am incredibly proud of it because it's something completely different than what I'm usually used to. Again, if you'd like to purchase it, I'll leave it in my eBay selling account in the link in the description box. If not, there is plenty of our artworks that are up for sale as well in that link. Please comment down below any thoughts or suggestions you have for my channel. I'm totally open to everything and I'm very good at answering. Also in my description box there's a my Patreon. If you'd like to sign up to my Patreon, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you can't do any of that I've just asked, don't worry about it. Please just like and subscribe because it helps me out in exactly the same way. And we could all do with a bit of happiness and get me towards that goal of 1,000 subscribers. I would like that. I would like to be able to be paid for these videos and enjoy more, putting up more content, not just for you but also for my mental health as well. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching again. I shall see you later.